The Twist podcast is brought to you by YourRightPath.com. That's YourRightPath.com, where every life is a story and each of us is the storyteller. And by Mademark Media, an independent media studio. Mademarkmedia.com.
That's Twisted.
Welcome to the Twist with Mark and Rick. Always fun, always clicking the best way. Here to stay.
That's Twisted.
Stay tuned. Yeah, you know it's time to start. Tune in, let's play our part. Coming to you from the heart.
That's Twisted.
Welcome to the Twist Podcast, show number 331, and it's a big one, Rick. You can tell just by looking at me. Tell people what I'm wearing for those who aren't watching us on YouTube, where they should, and follow and subscribe.
Yes, they should. Mark is wearing an orange hat that very, I don't know how to describe it, with a black band, and his sunglasses are all very thick with red, white, and blue, with a red star on the right above it and a blue star on the left above it. He's pointing to it, and a yellow t-shirt. You look beautiful, Mark. Good morning. Happy 250.
Thank you. Now, the hat, actually, I got for the Kentucky Derby like 3 years ago to wear to a
derby hat.
A little event thing. And then the glasses, of course, are because the July 4th belongs to all of us. And even though millions of us are hoping for a heat stroke tomorrow when he's doing 2 hours in 170 degree heat. But it's still my country's 250th anniversary. I was there for the bicentennial. I had a high school boyfriend. We sat on the lawn by the park where they did the fireworks. So I said, I'm not going to have it completely ruined by this crap. And there's a lot of local stuff. If you can't get into the national thing, which I cannot, there's a lot of local stuff. But I got to put this out here, Rick, before we move on. I'm not a fan of fireworks. They terrify animals. I'm a big animal person. They terrify animals and pets. I do not like fireworks. I saw them once. Yeah. I never needed to see them again.
Wow.
That's where I am with fireworks. How are you doing today? Tell me.
I feel the same. People with autism do struggle with it a lot, as you know, and it's like kind of forced upon you. They canceled our fireworks in Madison, maybe not for that reason, but that's one of the benefits. I will also applaud you for not wearing LG green. So thank you for no LG green in your collaborative color scheme this morning.
Well, I had to take it off. It was smelling pretty bad.
Oh, well, I understand that.
Well, I had a bunch of it in my garage. Like we were going to drive to DC and throw it in the pool, but then they the kiddie pool that Trump did, but then they put the fence around it. So
you would have become a terrorist. You would have been arrested. Hey, ICE has been in Madison. It's not good, Mark. I have friends that work for a company where they came in. I also came into a laundromat yesterday. One of my favorite restaurants is closed tomorrow. Talk about America, right? It's closed tomorrow because half of the kitchen staff was taken away, and it's happening in Madison. And I feel people are quiet about it. Like we used to be like, you're not coming to town. And now it's just a news story. There's no action around it. So it makes me sad. But also, this is our first show out of good news. Don't panic. Our new correspondent, Prance, is still with us, as Mark promised. He didn't just participate in June, which was Pride. But Mark, I want to remind people now that we're into July, if Cher sees her shadow tomorrow, we get 6 more weeks of Pride.
I like that. I like the setup. I didn't know where you were going with it, but I liked it. Now, speaking of 6 more weeks, it is incredibly hot. I had mentioned to you in the pre-production pink room that we had to kind of keep it to a clip because I had to turn the AC off to do the show, right? You can't do a show with the air conditioner running in the background. So the AC's off. And boy, I swear we broke records yesterday. We went to the mall we met 2 friends there, Cindy and Lisa, because I said, we got to get out of this. We got to get out of this heat. My poor little kitty babies, they'll survive because they're cats. But I got a mani-pedi. Can you see my shiny fingernails?
I love them. Yes, pretty.
I got a spa pedi and a mani. I wanted to go with color, but I didn't do it yet because it just makes me too self-conscious. But anyways, super hot. And we're on the personals page. I did a self-publishing workshop at Red Mill Books, READMILL Books in Clinton, New Jersey. I plug them every chance I get. I love this bookstore. And Jillian, who started it and runs it, and is just such a community-oriented, wonderful young woman. And I mean, that's kind of it. There's so much more. But the stuff going on in the world, I think is more important than the stuff going on in my little life. Be careful with deer ticks, by the way, folks. There are a lot of them this year. I've been out watering because you've got to water your plants to keep them alive in this kind of heat. And I just keep getting little deer ticks on my pant legs and stuff.
Yeah, I had a little bump on my forehead or my head here, and I kept thinking it's a tick. You got to be careful with that stuff. Also, Mark, be careful of cyclosporiasis. It's going around.
Where is it coming from?
See, I got a lot of setups today. Well, I don't know, but it's an explosive diarrhea, among other systems.
Oh, I saw that. I thought that was like a
yes.
Trump story.
No, it's in 17 different states. I did look, and I think it's peeking into Wisconsin and New Jersey. I was in Louisiana this week, and it was definitely present there. So didn't hit me, but be careful, guys. Cyclosporiasis. We got to be careful of that.
I read about it, but I realized when I read it that's why whenever you see Trump surrounded by people, that's why they're standing so far away.
Yeah, because it's explosive, Mark. It's explosive
and very odoriferous or whatever
he
word.
doesn't odoriferous. Yes, he doesn't need
When
that.
he's not sleeping,
Also,
he's farting.
I had here's a funny thing this week. I got back from Louisiana. It's nice. I'm looking at a lot of gifts that I have on my counter still to gift people, from beer from Great Raft, which is the first brewery that opened there after the Prohibition. So 67 years later, almost 10 years ago now, they opened Cajun Spices, made by my friend who's from Southern Louisiana, Brady, who's a pilot. Stayed with him. It was sad. Like I told you, I think a couple weeks in the show, that one of his friends was one of the 8 guys killed when they were testing that aircraft out in California at Edwards Air Force Base. And while I was there, the funeral took place, and I was able to meet some of his friends who knew this guy. And it was really like a news story hitting home. It was hard. This week, though, I also got notice that a good friend of mine, David Wells, is moving from D.C. into his retirement. And I asked him where he was headed, where he was retired for this last 30 of his life. And he said, Palm Springs, which, that's where my retirement home is.
I can live with that.
And know what he calls it? I've never heard it called this. God's waiting room.
Yeah, I've heard that before, because everybody's so old.
Everyone's so old. We're just out there waiting for God to take us home. How about that this week? U.S. winning. That was nice. And soccer. That was cool.
Yeah, that was nice. I'll give them that. That was nice.
I did like that. A couple other nice things about soccer. World Cup is just about a week and a half away. It'll be played out by you, Mark, at the Meadowlands. The final game. It looks like Portugal's moving forward against Spain. We'll see where that goes. I'm a big Portugal fan. Pink cleats. They're trending. Everyone's wearing them on all the teams. They don't have to, but they wear their pink cleats.
Interesting.
And I also really loved that Seattle forced Iran and Egypt to play a themed pride match, even though both countries didn't want to do it. I thought that was pretty cool. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. I like
Seattle maiden.
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty cool. I got sucked into this thing also this week, Mark. When you're traveling on the airplane, you want to do different things to stall the air traffic or to make it go faster. It was on my phone, and American now, like Delta, offers free Wi-Fi, so that's pretty cool. But I was looking at this thing. You ever get served like gadgets under $10 on Amazon, must-haves, and you look through and there's about 100 gadgets, 98 of which you don't need, but it was fun. I mean, like the things they've created gadgets to do, even though they're under $10, I had to look at every one. I ended up, of the 100 of them listed, I ended up only getting 4 of them. So I did pretty good, didn't I, Mark?
You did good. And I'm going to take our picture real quick. Look up,
Okay.
look up. Oh, wait, you can't see my glasses. There you go. All right. Social media.
Also, I saw a shirt. I saw a couple shirts. I was standing down to people at the airport in lines and stuff more this week than usual, because I'm traveling, and people using the back of the t-shirt to give messages like, hello, you behind me, you're beautiful and glorious and all that. You've seen shirts like that. This one, though, said there are 2 types of Trump supporters: billionaires and idiots. Check your bank account to see which one you are. That I love.
I think I saw that somewhere.
Did you? Maybe.
Yeah, but if they lose all their money, they just blame the Democrats. Some guy he lost like $40,000 in the meme coin, the Trump meme coin, and he said the Democrats or the liberals were shorting it or whatever. However the hell you do. I mean, they're just nuts. I give up.
They are crazy. They are crazy. And then one last thing before we move forward, 4th of July just around the corner. I am going to go. They got the fried apple pie back in McDonald's. It used to be just kind of
oh my god,
baked,
I love
but yeah, it's the fried one like when we were kids. It's back, and you can make a fried apple pie sundae. You get a caramel sundae, you get a fried apple pie, and you dip it. Doesn't that sound good?
It is good. And I know Kathy listens to these, to every show, so I just want her to know.
Oh
that
yeah, she doesn't like all my.
No, well, you had clarified with me that you don't actually eat most of this stuff.
No,
Sugar's
Nope.
sugar's horrible for you.
Well, yeah, and I'm pre-diabetic, so I watch it. But that was nice to your sister, good, because Mark will write Kathy and say, hey, Rick's got this going on. And she'll say, well, Rick's got to be careful because of XYZ. So thank you, Kathy. But yeah, I actually just bring the things up. Now, I will tell you on this case, you caught me because mostly I don't do it. I just talk about it. But this one I'm really going to have. So yes, Kathy, I will exercise caution. I appreciate it. So
you'll have a spoon.
That's really all that's going on. Also, Mark, I really want to learn Sanskrit. After this call, I'm going to my yoga practice, and we use Sanskrit. My favorite closing of a class besides Namaste is really Shanti, 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 peace of body, peace of mind, peace of spirit. And that's all Sanskrit, one of the oldest written languages, or the oldest written and spoken language. I really want to learn Sanskrit as I get into my final.
Me too. We could probably do it together.
You want to do it together, and we could have a Sanskrit?
I want to learn sign language. I was trying on an app on my phone, but that's sign. But anyways, yes, no, it's wonderful. Now, before we get into the news, I'm going to go ahead and, since we're early in the show, I'm going to plug our show because I send you these links to these other podcasts, and it's like they're doing what we do. They're doing what we do because there's all these like pros out there or whatever, and they'll go like, your podcast has to do this and it has to do that, and no, it doesn't. It has to appeal to people, and we do, but because there's a whole bunch of people that do basically what we do on the Twist, and we've been doing it a long ass time,
311 times,
10 years, give or take a couple of hiatuses. But anyways, folks, if you watch us on YouTube, because that's getting a little bit of traction, please subscribe, please like. Same thing with Spotify, man. We need the numbers, and it's okay that I say that because when I listen to the Midas Touch or a podcast or Harry Sisson, they do it all the time. They're always saying, drop us a like on the thing. So anyways, like us wherever you hear us. And then when you come back, we're going to do the news, Rick. I saw you step away there. You must have run out of coffee. See how I keep things going?
That's why you keep us on video, so you can keep track.
Yeah, so the people watching it go like, what? Where'd he go? Okay, you know what time it is.
Get ready for the news, but with a twist.
Twist, twist. The story's got a twist.
You won't believe what you just missed.
And they don't miss it because we tell them. Huge fucking week. Oh, I'm trying to not do so many F words because I got
Watch those words.
I know, but I got a comment about that later on in the show.
Yep.
But
okay.
We're gonna clean it up here. But the birthright citizenship ruling should have been 9-0 or 7-2. I completely expected Alito and Thomas to to like wipe their asses with the Constitution, but it was 5-4, really 6-3 in the one, but basically 5-4. And like I do understand it because they are ideologues. The 6 Republicans on the court, I'm not going to call them conservatives, they're Republicans. They have an agenda, and they're gonna twist things however they need to put out their rulings. It's an imperial court, and now I'm finally seeing a lot of people saying the Democrats, if you're running for office in the 2028, you better talk about court reform. You had better talk about court reform because this is unacceptable. But anyways, birthright citizenship held for now. Trans girls in sports, no, not so good. The states can ban it. I'm going to stay out of that one because I still, my thinking on that can change from time to time.
Yep.
And then, what else did they do? Oh, endless money in campaigns, which they've already done. Unfortunately, the Republicans have like $100 million in their little treasure chest, and the Dems are in debt, the national Dems. So we got to fix that one. But I still believe, unless they somehow like do not have elections, which I don't think is going to happen, I still think we're going to win. There's more of us, we're more enthused, and no matter what they do to stop us, we're going to vote. We're going to vote, and we're going to win the midterms. Here, E. Jean Carroll, she didn't win anything, but the SCOTUS wouldn't hear it. So he's an adjudicated rapist. He's an adjudicated sexual predator. He was found guilty by a jury of his peers in a civil case. So, and he's a convicted felon, and it's funny because sometimes I've been a little bit of a troll on Facebook, like a libtard, trolling Trump supporters. And I'll say, you voted for a rapist and a pedophile, man. What you say, like, it doesn't matter what you say. You voted for a rapist and a pedophile, and they'll come back with, "Where's the proof? Show me the proof." It doesn't matter what we show you. You've been shown the proof a gazillion times in courtrooms and by juries. You have been shown the proof. So I'm show you the proof is just bullshit. We could show you them a video of Trump, having sex with a 14-year-old on camera, and they would still say, "Show me the proof." So, here's an interesting thing. Mail ballots can be counted as long as they've been received before Election Day. The Supreme Court did that. In other news, the LGBTQ refugee advocacy group called Rainbow Railroad said that there's been a surge in requests for help from queer people in red states, and I'm not surprised. I mean, it might be especially transgender people trying to save their own lives and get out while they can. But so they're trying to get help to move to places like New Jersey, where they're okay for now. And then finally, another pride is come and gone. Bummer to our little Frenchtown Pride Parade. Frenchtown is a small town near here, 15 minutes away, that says it has the smallest pride parade in the country because it's like a block long, 2 blocks long.
Wow. Nothing's too small. Nothing's too small.
No, but they were supposed to have it last Saturday, and their rain was going to come, which never came. So the organizer canceled it. So they got to wait another year, and in these times, I think it would have been really nice to go ahead with the parade, whether it rained or not. Frank and I have marched in the downpour. But anyway, so Frenchtown, get it together, please. Thank you. What you got?
I'll start with some local news. Aggressive turkeys spark concern in the Madison neighborhood. We have wild turkeys. I'm guessing you guys do too, no?
Well, we do, but we do have wild turkeys. I mean, I don't see them a lot.
Yeah, we see them a lot because we did a trade with Kentucky, I think, where we gave them some walleye and they gave us some turkeys, and the turkeys went wild. We've also done a trade with elk, and we tried to reintroduce elk. Didn't go so well in northern Wisconsin. They thought they'd take off like white-tailed deer. They didn't, but the turkeys have taken off. And in Madison, we also have these sandhill cranes everywhere. And it was baby season, so it was really quite beautiful. I'm amazed you don't see more. I shouldn't even put this out there, but roadkill of, you'll see turkeys now and then. They're pretty fast, but you don't see a lot of roadkill with the cranes, which is unique because they're so gentle and so small, like, thin and little legs and stuff. But yeah, this lady was walking, and Stricker Park is the name of the park. And she's walking with her baby in a stroller, and they kept getting closer to her as she was walking, getting closer and closer. This guy screamed, got rid of him. So the DNR, the Department of Natural Resources in Wisconsin, is now consulting with the city of Madison about whether the incident rises to the level of a potential permit to relocate thin out nearby flocks. So it was pretty intense, Mark. Pretty intense. Also in the news, that was my local story. But this is a sad story. I wasn't going to do it again because I don't like to put things out there we don't need to. But the actor who played Moana, the voice of Moana, the new
I saw that.
Well, died of HIV/AIDS. I was really, really shocked to hear it. She was also unhoused at the time, I think. Devai Chase. She voiced. She was Lilo in Lilo and Stitch. She died June 16 at 35 in the LA County Medical Examiner's Office, listed AIDS as the cause of her death with chronic polysubstance use. So you got to remind people that with all these attacks on safe use products, I've said this, it's not going to only affect the opioid affected community, but it will go back and hurt people with HIV and AIDS. So I want to be aware of that. Also, it was really sad, the story about Pete Buttigieg swatting's happening everywhere. Yesterday.
Family, Well, it wasn't really swatting. It wasn't swatting because that involves calling SWAT. But yes, somebody called child services on him, which is really
they're considering it like swatting isn't the name comes, like Mark said, from SWAT. As a matter of fact, we had 3 cases of it in Madison yesterday, shutting down our zoo. Courtney, who's been a guest on our show, most recently talking about the polar bears there, they had to shut down, make sure all the animals were safe. It's a way of disturbing. So these calls have come in for the UW-Madison hospital, the UW hospital and the zoo all came in yesterday, and then it shut them all down. But what I'm referring to is Pete Buttigieg. Yeah, this was based on a woman that called Child Protection Service and said, yeah, 4 or 5 years ago, a friend of mine said that Pete Buttigieg said he was harmful to his kids. God darn. And he wrote about it, and my heart was broken. Really, 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 really sad. On the good note, did you see that couple? Angela Nicolau and Ivan Kuznetsov, known online as Ivan Burkis, a Russian daredevil couple famous for unauthorized skyscraper.
Oh, I saw that. That was so cool. Yeah,
to the top of the Empire State Building in Tenna Wednesday around noon. They hung a banner reading, "When the power of love beats the love of the power of the world knows peace." As they climbed back down, they said yes to each other. They proposed to each other up there. They got through on a hatch on the 103rd floor, normally used for a water tower maintenance. The images were great, and they're a handsome couple. Did you see how cute they were?
Yes, and I can't, I have a thing about heights. I can't even, when I walk across a bridge, I have to be like at least 6 feet away from the railing. I get heights just freak me out. So I cannot
they were
imagine.
Top on top of the
How
very
do you
top.
do
Yes.
that? It's crazy.
I know. The images will get you. They're really, really, really amazing. And then 2 last stories. I love this one. During a recent visit to Toronto to celebrate Pluto TV Canada's launch of a dedicated All My Children streaming channel, Susan Lucci talked all about things related to Pine Valley. So if you happen to be a Canadian or someone traveling up to Canada, you get a chance to watch All My Children 24/7 now on their version of Pluto TV. I think that's pretty cool. And then an update, Mark. Nearly 40 years later, Minneapolis repeals the bathhouse ban. We talked about it on the show.
All right.
For the first time since 1988, you'll soon be able to go to a gay bathhouse. Not only that, but in a 9-2 vote, the Minneapolis City Council repealed the city's longstanding ban on adult bathhouses. But they also said it's going to open things up for other, safe sex-related facilities and opportunities. So good for Minneapolis.
Yes, and we were in LA when the AIDS crisis was happening, and I remember all this controversy over wanting to close the baths, and they didn't.
Remember the big ones in Hollywood Bathhouse, and God, there were a lot of them.
The one on Ivar Street was
yes, that was.
And then
wasn't that called Hollywood Spa?
Hollywood Spa, and then yes. So one thing I forgot to mention before we move on is that I got really distressed yesterday about the cherry trees in DC.
Oh, what happened?
It is in the title of the show, so I have to go back here.
I didn't know about this. Tell me.
Oh, it's horrible. This monster in the White House, this imbecile. He thinks everything is his. He thinks the White House belongs to him. He thinks everything belongs to him. And he has no appreciation for beauty and no concern for what anyone else desires. And he was spotted with this plan for a golf course. Unfortunately, a judge has just since then, I think, ordered to see the plans. And that they could tell from the plans, whoever the photojournalist was, that it includes cutting down all the cherry trees. There are a bunch of cherry trees it started in 1910 as a gift from Japan.
Right.
So, and every year I hear about people going to Washington to see the cherry trees, and they have a bike path and they have picnic tables. It's a public fucking space. And this goon is planning on ripping up all the trees for another golf course. Like this man needs one more golf course to ride his fat, lazy ass around on a golf cart and cut down these trees. I was so upset because these trees, they're innocent. I mean, talk about a slaughter of the innocents. Innocent fucking trees. And I thought, I really hope if it gets to that hundreds, if not thousands of people, if I lived in DC, I would do this. Show up to save those goddamn trees. Chain yourself to the tree. Make these thugs drag you off in handcuffs. Save those trees. Okay, that's it.
That's absolutely. Hey, you brought up a good point too. On June 30th, I was able to go to the state capitol and speak. The beagles are free. The license was put forward after 60 years of breeding these beagles at Ridgeland Farms. We had one of the rescuers on our show, Alexander Paul, and we're going to have another rescuer, Mark. I put out an invite to interview these guys. They live in prison, and they have a program where they've taken in these beagles and they're training the beagles.
Very cool.
A lot of people complain, like, why would you take beagles out of a prison and put them in another prison? F you. This is great that they're doing it.
But it's not a crate. They're not being put in little crates.
Right.
People are stupid.
Right.
People are stupid.
So hopefully we'll have these guys on. They have a really cool program and they adopt a lot of beagles, but no more beagle breeding in Wisconsin,
no more
leading
beagles.
a lot of national and international attention. No more. Where are we on the show, Mark?
Fun facts.
Fun
Heat.
facts.
Heat waves. Here we go. Oops, got to turn my page. I don't have my assistant. Quit. So anyways, asphalt can reach temperatures over 150 degrees, which we know.
Be careful when you're barefootist. Yes.
Sand probably can't. Sand gets really hot too, but even when the air temperature around it is only 100, the surface absorbs and radiates heat. So be careful walking barefoot in the city.
Yes.
Heat in the parking lot. Heat waves kill more people in the U.S. annually than hurricanes, tornadoes, and floods combined. Yet they get less media attention because the deaths are often quiet. You have elderly people dying alone in their homes. There's not a lot of dramatic footage to people like falling over dead like we're hoping Trump does on the 4th of July, which does not take away from my true empathy for people suffering in heat waves. There's only one person I want suffering in a heat wave. Cities create their own heat. I knew this. The urban heat island, it affects the city, can run to 15 to 20 degrees hotter than outside the city because of all the concrete. Heat waves can change the color of the sky. I didn't know that. Extreme heat increases the concentration of ground level ozone and particulates in the air, which can give sunset and daytime skies a hazier orange tinted look. I like the word particulate. Now, did you know? This is off topic. Farts are every odor is particulate. Everything you smell is a particle.
Yes.
Farts are particulate, people. And then the last one, crickets chirp faster in extreme heat. Didn't know that. It's possible to estimate the temperature by counting cricket chirps in a 14-second span and adding 40, a phenomenon known as Dolbear's Law. Who knew that? I mean, who's going to stand around counting cricket chirps? But I had no idea that could be done. What do you think? Amazing.
Wow, that's wild. Wow. Yeah. No, I think that those are fun facts for sure. I've just got a few that are just random thoughts. My fun facts are usually this and that. Fruit of the Loom. When you picture the logo of Fruit of the Loom, everyone pictures a cornucopia. There was never a cornucopia or a basket around it. You knew that?
Well, there's baskets in them. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, the basket, it's a reverse basket thing. Oh my God. I had a friend, I won't say his name, but he texted me yesterday and said his internal cock wasn't doing so well and he was a little off. He missed the letter L, which, letters matter, guys.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, my internal cock.
Yeah, he was embarrassed. He caught it. I didn't want to point it out. He's a straight guy, and anyway. So,
yeah, he might take it. He might take it as an invitation.
He got a little, but he's funny about it. I did not know that the Brady Bunch, the figures, it's like a Zoom call. All the kids on the left, all the kids on the right, mom, dad. Alice was always in the middle, as we know. And she had a very big career before she became Alice on Brady Bunch, winning different awards and stuff. But I didn't know that they came up with 2 final casts of kids. One set was all blonde and one set was all dark hair. And they went with the all dark hair cast. Yeah. And what's interesting, the guy that played Bobby was actually the only blonde one that they kept, and they had him dye his hair black. So I didn't know that. He could have had a.
Oh my
Isn't
God,
that
that
wild?
explains a lot.
Yeah, it does. It says a lot. Also, fun fact, why is it called a butt dial but a pocket text? Think about that.
Yeah, that is weird. And I
That's weird.
would never carry my phone in my back pocket anyway, so I've never butt dialed anybody.
Yeah, I kind of like, I don't look at guys' butts normally, but when they have like snuff in their pocket or a phone in their pocket, for some reason it catches my attention. Yeah, it always gets me.
Yeah, that's
one. The word. Yes. Well, yeah, I'm just looking at the phone, the butt dial. Whatnot. The term whatnot. I actually like the term whatnot. And I was like looking into the heritage of the word. The word traces back to the 1950s, Mark. It's formed simply from what and not and was elliptical for the phrase, what may I not say? So whatnot is what might I not say? So when you have some whatnots, there are things you normally wouldn't say, but you could. Yeah, it started back in 1530. Isn't that wild?
It is. It doesn't really mean that now. It's like, it's just like da-da-da-da-da whatnot. It's like an added thing that you don't have to say.
Yeah, which is really the heritage of it. But yeah, it's a little different. And then it took a twist in the furniture world, speaking of twists, Interestingly, the word took on a second life as a piece of furniture. A whatnot became the name for a floor-standing piece of open display furniture made up of slender uprights supporting a series of shelves. So kind of like a curio.
Knickknacks, yeah.
It was called a whatnot. Yeah, like whatnot.
Whatnot.
Knickknacks. That's a good one, too. And then also, I thought you'd find this. Do you know what zines are? I've really been into
magazines.
Zines.
Oh, absolutely. Zines have been around forever, yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I mean?
Short for magazine. It's short for magazine, and it's usually something that somebody like does in their home with a copy machine.
Yes, they make it. They're actually just one page. So a true zine. I'm holding it up for those of you that are watching the show. You take a piece of paper, you cut a little slit in here in the middle, and then the way you fold it like this, and you open it, it becomes a zine, which is like a small.
Really cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're trending, Mark. They've been around. They kind of started, they got a lot of attention in the 1960s for political, to get people all worked up and make statements. Then in recent years, they have come back now talking a lot about issues like overdose, different things related to subcultures. They're usually, you usually would print no more than 1,000 of them. Usually fewer, like 100 of them when you get to printing them. But they're a non-commercial, often homemade or online publication, usually devoted to specific and unconventional subject matter. So they're called zines. Sometimes they're called fanzines. I just went off on this, but I'm really interested in making my own. Yeah, I want to make a zine, Mark, and put some whatnot in there.
Twist zine.
Yeah.
I like it.
Twisting. There you go.
All right.
That's our fun facts.
All right, here we go.
It's a hit.
You want to go first or me?
Still twisting. I'll go quick because my recommendations are very slight. The movie by Olivia Wilde is out. It looks really good. It's called The Invite. It's currently in theaters. It'll be wide released, I think, next weekend. She directed the film and stars in the film as Angela, along with Seth Rogen, Penelope Cruz, Edward Norton. The story follows a bickering, unhappily married couple in San Francisco who invite their enigmatic upstairs neighbors, who are played by Cruz and Norton, over for a disastrous dinner party, which results in a shocking proposition and a night of marital catharsis. Let me just tell you this. When Olivia talks about it at news conferences, she refers to it. She's coined a new word, Mark. Are you ready for this?
I am.
It's better than a throuple. The word is quargy.
Quargy. Oh, okay.
Like a quad orgy. An orgy of
orgy.
four is a orgy. Got it?
Yeah, I like it.
So that's it. Also, a recommendation, I like to look to the future and tell you what's coming up that I think will make our recommendation. It's a hit list. And this one is Olivia Platt. And what's her name? Hold on. Sylvia Plath has a book out. And it's being made into a movie. It will star Billie Eilish. I can never say her eyelash. I can never say her name.
Eilish.
Billie.
Like Irish, but Eilish.
Eilish. You just add an L to Irish? Eilish?
Yeah.
Say it again. I can't.
Eilish. Yeah, finish.
Billie Eilish, yes. It's a movie that's coming out that's going to be really good based on Olivia Platt novel. Not Olivia. It's Sylvia Plath.
That's odd, though, because it sounds like Sylvia Plath, who was the poet who killed herself in 1963. But I didn't know.
That's
I don't.
who it
Anyways,
is.
it's interesting. We'll keep our eyes
Well,
out.
it was Sylvia Plath. I always say Plath. It's Plath. Her 1963 novel, The Bell Jar. The film was being written and directed by Academy Award winner Sarah Polley.
Well, then it
starring
is
Billie
Sylvia
Eilish.
Plath. It is Sylvia Plath.
Yes, I
I'm
said it wrong.
Who is he talking about?
Mark, I can't say these last names. It's a problem.
Plath.
Sylvia Plath's book, The Bell Jar, will
Plath.
star Billie
Like wrath.
Eilish.
Just say it like a gay man with a lisp. Plath.
Okay, stop. Whew, those are my recommendations. Those are my
All
hits.
right, all right. Mine are
Sylvia Plath.
Yep, Sylvia Plath. I loved her. She was hugely influential on me.
The book's gonna make a good movie. Yes.
Malls. That's my recommendation. That's my hit list. I got Malls.
Really?
And then we got Prance coming up after this, but I told you we went to a mall yesterday, but there's more to it than that. Malls are making a comeback, especially with younger people. There's something grounding about spending a few hours in an open space with other people in shops. when the weather, especially when the weather is crappy. It's either really hot or it's like really rainy or snowy. It's good to go in the mall. You can walk. Frank gets his walking done. I get mani-pedis. We shop. We have lunch. And it's real people in a real space. It's not emojis on a screen. And I can see how younger people, Gen, whatever they are, betas, they're like sick of life that exists on a phone and this sort of Wi-Fi existence that everybody has. They want to connect with other human beings, other kids, other young people. So I'm recommending malls. Support your local mall. Please get out. Now, I shop on Amazon because I live in the country.
I love it.
And I probably would if I didn't, but I live in a place where like there's no store around here, but we can go to the mall if we don't mind driving 45 minutes or an hour. And that's my hit list, people. Support your malls, man. Keep them, help them survive, because they really are fun places to be.
You know, it's interesting. So I hang out at this place called Flix, which is in the mall. And they just bought like 4 of the Alamo draft houses in Texas. They're basically Texas, Albuquerque, a couple in Iowa. And then they have this one where they have, you know, I introduce friends to it a lot because good food, good alcohol, it makes beer, and good movies. And that's where I see a lot of my movies. I went to the Minions and Monsters movie yesterday. Did not like it, would not recommend it, but neither here nor there. And my friend was with me, and he's from the west side of town. He hasn't been to the East Town Mall in years. And he's like, what the heck happened? You're right. It's sad. Sears went away, never came back. The Boston store, the department store, never came back. So only half the mall is full. But if we start to bring it back and follow Mark's recommendation, we're sitting pretty. Come on, guys, support the mall.
Now, speaking of movies, let's see what Prance has to say about his movie roundup. You can listen while you walk away. It's okay. Here we go.
Prance Thunderbottom here with a movie roundup for the holiday weekend. Box office is heating up faster than the record-breaking temperatures scorching the country. Pixar's Toy Story 5 is holding strong at number 1. Fending off Warner Brothers' Supergirl, which had a rougher landing than the studio hoped, there's real concern it might not even crack $100 million domestically. Meanwhile, the real story of the summer might be a $20 million horror movie nobody saw coming. A24's Backrooms, directed by 20-year-old Kane Parsons, is closing in on $200 million domestically. Proof once again that original horror can still pack a theater when you least expect it. On the franchise side, Scary Movie just crossed $1 billion worldwide, becoming the first parody franchise ever to do it. And the Super Mario Galaxy movie pushed the Mario franchise past $2 billion total, the first video game movie franchise to hit that mark. If you want to know what's coming next, Sony's Spider-Man Brand New Day just dropped its second trailer, and it pulled in over 500 million views in its first week. Theaters haven't even opened yet, and it's already breaking records. That's the state of the box office. Toy boxes, back rooms, billion-dollar punchlines, and a web slinger waiting in the wings. Until next time, this is Prance Thunderbottom reporting exclusively for the Twist Podcast.
Couple things real quick here. Forgot. Oh, I want to see Backrooms, the horror movie. I love it when like some young person, well, they don't have to be young, but somebody does like this low, but although to me, $20 million is not low budget, but I guess it is now. Like 20-year-old director that who ever heard of, and he's got a $200 million horror movie. I want to see it. Like I loved Sinners, loved Weapons. And then, there were other things, something Prince I was going to say, horror movies. It'll come back to me. But
all I can tell you is I know I have not met Prance, but I love Prance. He's an outstanding journalist. He gets it done. He uses his words wisely. Having that theme song continue because everybody is gay. We can all be a little bit gay as many times as we want. I love it. But yeah, Mark, I've talked about Backrooms before. It was the guy that started, the 20-year-old, based it on a photo out of Oshkosh, Wisconsin, of a backroom in a furniture store. But go now because A24 just released the expanded version of Backrooms called Everything Must Go. It adds about 15 minutes of bonus footage, including an extended ending and a new post-credits scene, pushing the runtime to 2 hours and 6 minutes. I will be going to see it a second time with the new footage.
Yeah, tell us all about it. And then one last little cultural thing. Frank discovered this song that's everywhere. It's got like millions and millions of downloads. It's about Puerto Rico. I don't know if you've heard it, but it's
No.
like it's all over the place, and people are doing like little TikTok videos of it. But it's AI. This guy put his lyrics into AI, and it came up with this song that went super viral. And it's interesting that you can. I mean, our little themes, all of our little music intros. I use 11 Labs mostly, but yeah, it's interesting what you can do with AI now. And I know people hate it, gonna hate it. I have to teach it in my workshops because that's the reality. And I'm not gonna be outbid by somebody who doesn't hate AI and refuses to talk about it. So, but it was just interesting to me. Okay, that's it.
Well, no. Real quick on that, I gotta say it's really interesting. As I just talked about being at my friend Brady's house, he and his wife Lynn. Brady, my friend in Louisiana that I referred to, had lost his friend in that crash. Brady turned 55 while I was down there, and his wife at the table quickly wrote him a song about a baby on the way, because that's their grandkids on the way. His name's could be Miller Lewis, and about turning 55 and how he was such a good dad and an example to the kids. We were literally at the table writing songs for each other using AI. Like you're having fun doing it. There's nothing wrong with it. And then, guys, if you want, you can put it in and say, hey, could I publish this song? And AI will tell you, here's the risky lines, here's what you can do. I agree, Mark, it's really great. I thought, and that's great because your husband Frank has made his career out of music, so it's interesting.
Well, and I did. I mean, before this all exploded, I had done for our anniversary, our wedding anniversary. I had done a really, really lovely song, and I didn't realize it was gonna. This was like a year and a half ago. Because everything hits so fast all the time. You got to stay up with it. That's what we do. Okay, here we go.
Well, real quick, I thought you were talking about a song.
You got to stop me now. I got to do it again. Go on.
Oh, that real quick. Well, real quick. My friend Jake told me about a song yesterday called "Everyone Is a Little Bit Gay" by Ash Gordon. I'm going to send it to you. You got to check it out.
Well, we did it first.
Yeah,
we should get our song out there. Okay, we got to move on. It's time.
That bugs my ass.
I got two of them today. One of them's in the show title. Long form writing on Facebook. I hate it. It's not Substack. Now, if you want to start a Substack, great. Mine is in the third year. Substack brought back long form writing, like blogging. It wasn't all microblogging anymore, which is what Twitter and X and all this other shit is. But I really don't like long form writing on Facebook. I will read one paragraph. That's all the time you're gonna get, unless you're Heather Cox Richardson or you're somebody who like really invests in creating all this textual content that I want to read. But there's just fucking shit all over the place. 800 words, 500 words. And most of it's AI. Most of it is not being written by the person putting it out there. And I hate it. I don't waste my time on it. Please stop. If you want to start a Substack, do the work. Start a Substack. Write your own shit. Speaking of AI. And then the other thing that bugs me is the return of, not the return because it really was not popular before, the profanity in the public sphere, in the political sphere, in the media sphere. When you have, and it's all over the place now. And I blame the people at the top. I blame the Trump regime. I blame Republicans primarily because I think they started this with Trump saying shithole countries. Now they're all they just swear all the time, and like I just did. You've got Stephen Chung, who is the White House communications director, calling some critic a bitch and saying, fuck you. And you got Megyn Kelly, who I can't stand, but she's going off on the Haitians and saying, go the fuck back to your country. I don't have kids, but if I had children, what can I possibly expose them to? None of this. And I find it really offensive. I have no problem with vulgarity or profanity. I use it, although I'm really careful. I don't use it in my writing. Like when I'm writing a horror story or something, because you can usually, if you go back and look at what you wrote or what you said, you can just take the F word out. Just take the words out. You don't lose anything. You don't need to say fuck. You really don't. And I don't need to say it either. It just comes out. But to hear it from politicians and media, and that includes Gavin Newsom. I mean, just because they do it doesn't mean we have to. So it just, I hate it. I hate it, Rick. Go on, weigh in.
No, I love it. I'm gonna take that on. It's so weird today. Like when you said the F word, you must have had this in your head because it came across weird and just genuine. Wouldn't usually we're dropping it left and right. So I'm going to do that. My mom absolutely hates the word. In her honor, I'm going to kind of drop.
I don't like all of the words. I don't like calling people bitches, and especially women. In a public format.
You know what I hear done a lot by straight men calling men that they're mad at little bitch. I hate that.
Yeah, that's just stupid. And it's been going on forever. It's misogyny. It's like especially to these fake ass men in MAGA, nothing could be more insulting than being compared to a woman. But people have been doing it all the time. Like you throw like a girl. That goes back to predates us. So what if you throw like a girl? What's wrong with throwing like a girl? But comparing boys to girls and men to women is like this ultimate insult, and it's really horrible.
No, well, that's what I love about our show, The Twist. We take these things down and we talk about it. We do. And our listeners love it because they're thinking all the time too. Shout out to Kelly and Courtney
Kathy
and Maria
and
your friends and Mark. We have a good following of people that get it and they think. My boo today, we were talking about the other day, my friends are smokers, and we were talking about the natural American spirit cigarettes, right? That a lot of people smoke. They're not. This is the worst example of cultural appropriation ever. Natural American spirits, they put the little like things that look Native American on there, use blues and greens and earthy colors, and they try to act like they're a native cigarette. They are not. They are owned by R.J. Reynolds and Company, which is the big people we sued when we had our tobacco crisis. So just boo, boo, boo to people that take advantage and use it. We talked during Pride Month a lot about stores and stuff, and we're glad that's kind of tamed down, that just take advantage of certain cultures or subcultures and trying to make it theirs. That absolutely pisses me off. Boo to them, boo to Reynolds and Company. That's all I got.
It's enough, Rick. It's enough.
It's never enough, but it's enough.
We're going to come back up with some wisdom from our favorite wisdom guru, Joe. Joe. We're going to hear what Joe has to say.
The tree that bends in the storm is the one still standing when the storm has passed. Someone who waits for the perfect moment to act will wait their whole life while the moment they were waiting for passes them by. It's not the years that wear a person down, but the refusal to let go of what those years have already taken.
Now, I don't have a favorite. They were all so good. I could not pick a favorite. I loved all of them. They all apply to how I try to perceive life and live my life now. So I love those things.
They're so poignant today to hear Joe's voice in that. She's 94 years old, and you look at our country about 250 years. That's almost half of the life of the country she's experienced. And these are still her words of wisdom. They're not about growth of the country or, anything. They're about the heart and soul of what keeps us going. So yeah, Joe, thank you so much for always sharing your wisdom with us here on The Twist, exclusively on The Twist.
Just like France. I mean, our shit is our stuff is exclusive.
Marky.
Our stuff is exclusive.
5 minutes and you failed us.
I know, it's so terrible. Now our last question. I hope you got yours ready because it's your turn.
I got a question ready. Yeah.
The final question.
I'm prepared.
The final question
is?
Well, and it's from a true story. If you found $30,000 in a convenience store bathroom that had no identification and no way to know who left it there, like in a paper bag, would you keep it or turn it in? This happened at a Wawa recently, and every once in a while I see these stories about somebody finding all this money on a on a bus bench. What are you going to do with it if you can't identify who left it? Now, I originally had said, I'm keeping it. But when I asked the writers group that I run in New Hope, I was like, I wasn't shamed, but it's like, no, you can't keep it. So I had to rethink it. What I would do, I'm going to go ahead and give you my answer. I would not give it to the store manager because I know that guy or that gal is taking that shit. I know they're taking it home. I know they're keeping it. I would not just blindly give it to the nearest police officer I found because I'm sorry, I don't trust these people. I would take it to the police station. First of all, make sure they have a policy like after a year of no claim, you get it. I'm recording everything. I'm doing videos. I'm taking pictures. I'm taking names. That I would do. I would not just take it home because it's probably mafia dirty money or it's bribe money for some Trump official. And, they could track me down. So I probably wouldn't take it home. Now you say what you would do and then we got answers.
Oh, yeah. What I would do, I'd keep the money and I would share the money. I would keep a little for myself, but mostly give the rest away. See,
now you brought up something interesting because several people in this little writers group this is not, I don't know how to put this. These people have money. They're retired. They got money.
Okay, that's fair.
So several of them said, "Oh, I would give it to. I don't need $30,000. I'd give it to charity." And I kind of got pissed, and not pissed, but I said, "Don't assume that everybody sitting at this table has money.
Right?
$30,000 is a lot of money." I said, "I got Social Security, and I got my writing income, royalties, and workshops. That's my income. So, no, I'm not giving $30,000 to a shelter. I'm not doing that. I'll give it to the cops, but I ain't giving it away." And because it really kind of bothered me that it was like, oh, we're all like retired white people. We must all have lots of money. It's not true. Now, other responses we got. Country Flowers. Her name is Milsa. I like her. She said it was a hard question. Her first thought was to keep it, but then what if it's a crime? What if there's a store surveillance? First thing you do, you look for a camera. She didn't know what she would do. Tough one. Brad Shreve said he didn't know, but he's seen enough movies to know that it was probably dirty money. Like I said, it's probably Trump bribe money. Who else? What else? I know we got other answers because we always do.
Oh, anyway. I saw them all. A lot of our usuals weighed in. Most of the people said they'd keep the money. Yeah, and people I asked in person, like I said, all said they would not keep it. So it's a tough call. If I knew I was going to get back in a year if nobody claimed it and legitimately had lost the money, although it makes you think who has 30 grand in a paper bag? Somebody said, well, what if it's a down payment for a house? What are you doing carrying around a $30,000 down payment in a paper bag? It's not clean money, which means they probably won't claim it. But then if I get it in a year from now, it's okay. It's okay. Now, what's your final question for next week? Oh, yeah. I just looked up some of the answers to the question you put on there. Brad Shreve said, I don't know what I do with it, but I've seen enough movies to know that if you keep it, the bad guys will chase you until the end credits. That was funny. Yeah. So that's it. I love the response you gave from our one listener, because our questions can be very thought-provoking and can make you think of other things. But this one that I have for this week is not so thought-provoking, but fun. Speaking of the Brady Bunch, right? Think of shows. Last time I was talking a lot about The Odd Couple. And, it was once a play, then it was on Broadway, then it was a movie, then it was a TV series, all that. So if you could reboot one defunct TV show, what would it be? What show would you bring back and how would you reboot it? But yes, Mark, I'll send this to you. If you could
it can't be one that's already, it can't be like Will and Grace or the Connors. It can't be one that's already been done. It can be in reruns, so because they're all in reruns. But what show would you actually do again? I think I know because I love the show and I was so sad when it went off. It doesn't have to be a sitcom. I kind of want to know now. It doesn't. I'm not going to tell you, but it doesn't have to be a sitcom. It could be The Closer. Which now I can't say because I already said it. So it could be a drama,
right? It could be anything. And
because they brought back Law and Order a couple times.
Law and Order, over and over and over again. Yep. So that's our question. If you could reboot one defunct TV show, what would it be? You can follow us on Facebook at Friends of the Twist Podcast. The question will be there. Ready to go for an answer.
Okay, now we got quotes. My end quotes. Do I only have one this time? I usually have two. Oh, I always have two. Emily Dickinson said, "Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul." Oh my God, she was just she knew human nature so well.
Love it.
She never left her bedroom. William Shakespeare, in All's Well That Ends Well, said, "It is the nature of hope to be always hopeful." Totally agree. Totally agree.
I like it. I do have a quote. I don't always, but I do. And then I have a final comment that I want to bring up before we sign off. This is from a book called You Better Be Lightning by Andrea Gibson.
Oh my gosh,
right?
yes, I have that.
You
that.
do?
Oh, Andrea Gibson. Oh my, yes. They and they are they. Do not say she.
They are.
Amazing.
Yeah, Posture Magazine Posture put out Andrea Gibson's work looks like poetry and sounds like poetry, but feels like something much larger, more expansive. I agree. Here, a friend of mine gave it to me, my friend Craig. To my dearest Rick, all my love, Craig. Okay, just to reveal, Craig's going to be a guest on our show coming up because Craig's life is really interesting. Craig was a friend of my father's who's now a friend of mine, which is really rare for me, who, didn't have the greatest relationship with my father. But Craig's the one that missed the letter L, okay? I just called him out.
Okay. Now,
but here's the quote I found, and it is so short. Andrea Gibson writes short ones. This says, "What can't be taken?" Oh, got a problem here. It's hard to read, Mark. It's small print. Hold on. I got a way to do this. Okay, so what can't be taken? Trauma was not being able to get the hands of the clock off me. Healing was learning no one has ever laid a fingerprint on the part of me that's infinite. Oof.
Yeah, Andrea was amazing, and they died from cancer. It was, but really, really interesting human being. Really, really wonderful.
Ooh, I didn't know that. Speaking of interesting people, interesting human beings, I want to shout out to Travis and Taylor Swift. They are getting married today. 100 invitees. You can look it up online. The permit from New York City was actually announced what time things are happening. A lot of friends arrived last night on Thursday to do a pre-celebration. They will get married this evening around 6:30, just in time for the anniversary of our country. I'm very excited about him. It makes for great happiness. My mom just texted me this morning with all her little emojis. She loves them. She said, and you may have heard this, they donated, speaking of money, they donated $26 million to charities throughout the USA. Just moments before their wedding took off. That just happened today. I know one of the biggest groups to receive $2 million, and it was Feeding America. They put out a post today thanking them for that donation. When you talk about food insecurities, honestly, that's, we can say, oh, that's nothing to them. But you know what? It's $26 million that they didn't
compared to Elon Musk donating zero to anybody. So yeah, it's a lot. Okay,
and they
thanks,
also gave a lot of money
show.
to the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, ASPCA too, and Children's Mercy. So just want to shout out to them. Happy wedding to you two. I know they listen, so
I know they do.
They'll hear it after.
Happy 4th of July, everybody! It's your country, and we got to stop the whole take it back thing. Please stop thinking in those terms, because
it's ours.
We're always taking it back from each other. It's one country, as much as divided as we are. Happy 4th of July, everybody! Thank you so much. This is The Twist, exclusively.
Love you, mean it.
Bye.
Bye.
That's Twisted.
Welcome to The Twist with Mark and Rick. Always fun, always clicking the best way. Here to stay.
That's Twisted.
Images of Josephine all over the place.
Stay tuned. Yeah, you know it's time to start. Tune in, let's play our part. Coming to you from the heart. Entertainment.
That's Twisted.